Hello and welcome back to the Battle Room. My name is, of course, the Battle Room, and today I am joined by the teams from the second largest tournament of all time. So this last weekend was the Grand Champions Festival Encore, ran by our very own Skraw VGC. Again, huge shout outs to Skraw for running this entire tournament. I'll link his YouTube down below. If you're not following him, you should check him out. Makes amazing content as well, but also runs amazing tournaments. So this weekend was an insane tournament. Like, if you look at how many people played, it's absolutely crazy, right? We had a whopping 4,254 players, right? Absolutely insane tournament. I myself did not play. I was out of town, but this is going to give us some insane meta knowledge, right? There was a lot of money on the line, and I feel like the meta has been shifting ever so slightly every single week. New teams are rising, and obviously with the release of or the ending of the last season, we saw a lot of the Champions tier teams released, which I did do a video on, but they did shake up the meta quite a bit, right? Like, these were a lot of teams that good players were working on, so now here we are, a big tournament, and also there's a lot of money on the line here, so that does as well give top players more incentive to show us their hand a little bit, so we can see what people are potentially cooking for the World Championships. So first things first, let's take a look at the meta-analysis and see which Pokemon are climbing, which Pokemon are really, really bad. Let's check it out. I'm enjoying the sunny weather and the rain. It's one of the most beautiful things in nature and in Pokemon. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the breakdown of these teams, and I hope you'll consider subscribing to help me enjoy the day even further in the rain, in the sun. Let's break down some teams. Enjoy the video. So these are going to be the day one Swiss stats. So Incineroar, wow. Incineroar being number one is actually kind of blown my mind. What is he in day two? It's King Gambit. Wow. Okay, that's more on that later. More on that later. We're in day one. So Incineroar is number one, dethroning Garchomp, who I've been preaching since we started playing Regulation MB that Garchomp is simply the best Pokemon in the game. That has been my stance. And he got beat by Incineroar by 10 Pokemon, and also King Gambit in third. This is huge. This is huge. This is a big shakeup. I feel like King Gambit, when Regulation MB first started, King Gambit fell really, really fast, really hard, right? Because at NAIC, we saw him at like 70% usage in day two. He had insane usage in day one as well. He is just one of the best Pokemon in the game. He counters some of the best Pokemon in the game. So yeah, King Gambit I thought was very, very good. But then when Regulation MB got announced and we started playing in that tournament, like I remember the first tournament, for example, Archaludon, Golden Go, a lot of these steel types, Metagross even, rose up, right? And they kind of they don't take King Gambit slot, but they take King Gambit slot on a team. Most teams don't run double steals. Some do. I still think it's not bad, but some do, and King Gambit started to fall in usage quite a bit. But he's back, baby. He's the king. He's number three. Incin number one, Garchomp number two. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think the setup teams are really thriving right now. Tons of that Blastoise, Delphox stuff. The Floette, Incin stuff hasn't gone away. He's back, dude. If you ever down Incineroar, just give him some time. He'll be back at the top. Garchomp number two obviously makes sense. I do think he's one of the best Pokemon in the game. He's fast. He's strong. He's bulky. Like, if you play a restricted dex and Garchomp is in said dex, he's going to be one of the best guys. I don't make the rules. That's just science. That's just science, and that's just facts every single time. 2014, 2017, 2012, 2013, 2026 Regulation MB and MA, right? He literally has been dominating his role as the best ground type, as the fastest ground type in these restricted smaller dex formats for 14 years, right? Like, when will they doubt him? Never. He's just one of the best Pokemon in this specific niche. Obviously, there are Pokemon like Landorus, I mean, Landorus I now even, but there are those better ground types, Ursaluna as well, that like when the dex gets bigger and they come back, Garchomp does lose his job a little bit. But currently right now, there's none of those. So he is just still one of the best. King Gambit number three. Makes sense. I think he's really, really great in his stuff like Bascule Legion. The priority move is just nasty. Good into the Blastoise. Like, I wouldn't say he's like good into Blastoise, but like you can't just say, oh, I have King Gambit, I beat Blastoise. But like having that Sucker Punch availability is nice. That priority. He's just a great Pokemon, hard to KO. Sinestro falling a little bit, but I think that's a fair place for it. I think Sinestro, those setup teams are looking really nasty still. So I think it makes sense there. And of course, we got our boy Charizard. He's here. He's here. He is number Number 5, 1,000 Charizards, also an insane win rate. Also King Gambit, insane win rate. I feel like good players love using King Gambit, and good players, I don't think they love using him, but they also love using Charizard. Charizard is obviously one of the best megas, if not, he's the best mega. Who are we kidding, right? Whimsicott at number 6 makes sense. Basket Legion falling down to 22%. I still think he's one of the best guys, but I do think, I don't know. I think the longer we play with him, like, not that he gets worse, but like people do figure out counterplay. But I still think he's nasty. I think Basket Legion is still absolute fire. Sneasler definitely has fallen out a little bit. Still, King Gambit is like weak to Sneasler, and I think that super effective hit is super valuable. I think Sneasler is still a good Pokemon. Farigiraf, dude. Farigiraf's on the rise here as well. 22%. Sylveon as well is like the best fairy type when you can't use Floette or Whimsicott. And I feel like we're seeing a lot less Floette, so there's just been more Sylveon. It makes sense that it's here because Floette teams require that dedicated usage of that Mega Slot, but Sylveon can be slapped onto many a team. Aerodactyl, still chilling. I wish we could see the difference between like obviously regular Charizard compared to Mega Charizard doesn't really matter, but Mega Charizard to regular Aerodactyl I think would be a very interesting statistic to see. But yeah, I think Aerodactyl's still a good mon. I think Mega Aerodactyl, like, the thing is he just won't go extinct because he's good into Charizard. Like, I imagine Aerodactyl is still going to be, like, he's not the best Pokemon ever. He's not, like, insanely broken, but he's good into Charizard, so I think he's a good Pokemon. Pelipper is still rising with its best friend Archaludon right below it. I think that makes a lot of sense. You're going to see them oftentimes paired together. There probably are a couple of select Politoed teams that pair with Archaludon, but for the most part, Pelipper is the guy right now. And I've said this before, but I think Pelipper's strength just relies on the fact that there's no electric types in the format. Like, if we look on this list, right, we have Raichu, and then Rotom Wash, right? So there was about 600 electric types in the tournament. There is like almost 10% of teams have an electric type. And it's not that Pelipper's unplayable into them as well. You can just switch out. But I think that the lack of electric types makes Pelipper into an even better Pokemon than it was before, because you get to run this really bulky Citrus Berry Pelipper set that is just so fire. It's so fire. It's so hard to KO. It's so hard to deal with. And it does a lot of damage, and it has awesome support moves, Wide Guard, Tailwind. I think Pelipper is incredible right now. Obviously pairs with Swampert, pairs well with Archaludon as well. We have both those. Grimmsnarl on the rise, and then Floette. I also think Venusaur has been very, very popular. Floette always has like the most insane win rate, by the way. It's actually crazy. And then there's a little bit of Raichu, which I think is fair. I think the Raichu teams are kind of neat. It didn't do well, though. Oof. Okay, let's check out day 2. In day 2, King Gambit is number 1. With 50% of the teams having one, and then Incense 47, almost 50% having him. Garchomp's 43. Wow, I mean, that's kind of crazy. The same 3, like, it's the same 3 guys. Charizard does pass Sinistcha here, but it is really just the same 3 guys are just still dominating the format whenever they get the chance, right? And I think part of the reason why you just see these 3 specifically is, of course, that they're just so splashable, right? You need a Steel type? King Gambit's got you. You need that fake out Incin guy? Fake out Incin guy. You need that fake out Parting Shot support? Yeah, he's the only one in the format who can do that. And you need a ground type? Garchomp, right? They're just super splashable. They're on a ton of teams. Charizard at 40%. Oof, dude. Oof. We're going to be looking at these teams in a sec, especially the teams at top cut. But yeah, this is Charizard's format, and I think at the highest level, Charizard is just the best guy, and I expect Worlds to be like absolutely disgusting. I think the thing is, like, MB didn't add the Charizard killer, but I don't know what the Charizard killer is, right? Like, it's like, hey, Tyranitar is really good in a Charizard. Mega Tyranitar bodies Charizard, but it's just like in the ecosystem that Charizard is present in, right? He has so many good teammates and good friends that I think we need like multiple Charizard killers to be introduced on multiple different archetypes that can drag him down. But I also just don't know if they exist. He was broken in 2014. Did he win Worlds? No, Pachirisu did, but he did do well. Charizard was very good in 2014. Super good in 2015. Didn't win though because Kang was a little better. Kang did get nerfed since then. He was pretty solid in 2018 when we had Megas. I feel like he's always been like, I don't think he's actually been this dominant before. I think for the most part, he was always like number 3 or 4 when it came to Megas, but he was always good. He was winning tournaments, but I don't know. This type of dominance from Mr. Zard is just absolutely insane. Sinistcha drops down a bit. Basket Legion, he rises, right? Yeah, he rises a solid like 6%. Sneasler, Whimsicott, Floette. Floette, actually, there's a really good conversion rate for Floette, because Floette only had 11% and in day 2 had 20%. It almost doubled. Floette's still killing it. Ferrograph, Sylveon, Aerodactyl, a lot of the same Pokemon. Pelipper actually like less than Archaludon, which is really crazy. That means there's a lot of Archaludon teams without Pelipper. I guess there's the Politoed Arch teams did really well. Where's Politoed? How many Politoeds are in here? A decent amount, 21 of them. Does that make up for the delta? Yeah, it does. It is about the delta between them. So yeah, a lot of the usage stats are the same, but we're just seeing that this is Charizard's playground and we have to live in it. And I think countering Charizard is of the utmost potential. Delphox did pretty well. Actually did horrible in day 2. Win rate rise. So did Blastoise. They did not have a good time at all. Archaludon did really well. Floette did really well. So did Charizard naturally. Toxapex. Whoa, Toxapex. Holy. I mean, we're going to talk about it. There was a ton of Toxapex. I'm glad I looked down a little bit. 62% win rate. That Mon's going absolutely ballistic in this tournament. Currently finals is about to be played. So, yeah, there might be one more win in the Toxapex thing. I'm just recording it as finals is being played. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. 62% win rate. Toxapex is definitely moving crazy. Cerulege is doing well as well. I think that makes sense. Polito didn't have a great showing. Annihilate as well. We're going to talk about Annihilate, but Annihilate is a big winner right now. And I think there was a very cool set that a certain player brought out that just kind of like revolutionized Annihilate in this format a little bit. So yeah, like let's stop messing around. Let's take a look at these teams. So obviously there is like a ton of teams here, like 2,000 of them, and like a lot, or what is it, 4,000 of them. And a lot of these players are really, really good, did really, really well. Like, you know, like even if you went 11-3, there's like, what is that, 63 of them, right? And they just miscut by 1 win. So there are a ton of teams if you want to check them out. Obviously, I'll link it down below. But we're just going to be taking a look at these top cut teams. So the first one we got here is a Mist Maiden Sow. No idea if I'm pronouncing that right at all. But we got Swampert Rain. I mean, this is like, it's kind of interesting because it's like a really slow Swampert Rain, but Swampert is also just really fast, so I guess that makes sense. We also have Life Orb Pelipper. I was talking about how good Pelipper is with the bulky set, but I think that the Life Orb set could work just as well, just because you are able to play an aggressive Pelipper Rain, right? Like, just because there's no just because there's no electric moves doesn't mean we need to be bulky. We can abuse the no electric moves by just saying, hey, they can't kill me and I'm gonna trade better than you with this Life Orb. Tailwind is obviously a very, very good move. It pairs well with Archaludon, pairs well with Swampert. Archaludon is gonna be a bold nature here. That's something. Well, let's start with Swampert. Swampert really boring and there's nothing to say about him. He's very fast and he hits you very, very hard with his coverage. And this set is like sleepy. It's whatever. It's a very good set. It's going to be the set that you see a lot, but it does have EQ. Archaludon is going to be a bold nature. That's like the only thing that's, I don't even think that's crazy. I think we're seeing a lot of Archaludons try those defensive natures just because it's like, hey, when I'm at +5, my nature doesn't matter like offensively. I just want to be as bulky as possible. And you're just relying on those electric shots. We have screens, we have rain, we have Sinistra. It just makes sense to me to be those defensive natures. Grimmsnarl is going to be sassy nature. That's something that we're going to have to take a look at here, because I think a lot of players are running sassy. It allows you to underspeed the other Grimmsnarls, right? Because like if Grimmsnarl runs like a neutral nature, when you parting shot, that means if like the Sun team has Grimmsnarl, which we're starting to see a little bit here, they parting shot first, they bring in the Sun, you're like, oh my god, dude, no, my Swampert's just like gonna hit like a wet towel, who cares? But if you're min speed, you at least have a better chance of potentially being a speed tie, or if they are a neutral nature, you just underspeed and you get your parting shot off, you bring in the rain and you're chilling and it's a good time. Double screens is good, Spear Break's a great coverage move. Sash Rescue Legion is a little interesting on rain. We do have Tailwind, we do have that little bit of speed control. But yeah, I mean, it's still strong, right? Like Liquidation, the Rain's going to do a lot. He's a last respects demon. Swampert likes to make itself faint, so you get stronger last respects. So double water, like, guys, it's kind of interesting, but it's kind of cool at the same time. Swampert Basket is kind of cool. Sinistra here is going to be Colbur Berry. Life do as well with Trick Room. I think Trick Room is cool, especially with the Basket Legion, who's a little slower, because there's no like Scarf or Swift Swim. Also, Archaludon loves a good Trick Room, right? He can just set up those Electro Shots, but also it's just like the threat of it can be really scary. Life Dew is going to heal up Archaludon, which makes sense. Rage Powder to protect him. and Machagacha for that damage. And then finally the Life Orb Pelipper. Just big damage from Weather Ball, Hurricane, Tailwind, and Protect, right? Like, you have the utility of Tailwind, you have Protect to keep them safe, and then you just have those really strong coverages. And I think, like, specifically the Hurricane Life Orb is kind of cool paired with Swampert, so that you can make sure you get through those grass types without potentially even having to worry about Swampert doing anything to damage them, right? Like, you don't need to EQ Hurricane. You just have a Life Orb Hurricane that's going to kill Sinistcha. So I think it's a cool adaptation to this team. It gives it some good offense, and also, like, with the Life Orb paired with these screens, it's still going to be very, very bulky, like I mentioned earlier. Who is next? Ethan. Ooh, my favorite team to talk about. So honestly, I feel like Big Six has been on the back foot really, really bad. I think Big Six is good. I'm not going to say Big Six is bad, but I think that a lot of the teams that are being used and being released right now, that people are trending towards, are very good and positive into Big Six, right? Because Big Six just isn't changing. We've kind of found the best version. I mean, like, it's always been the best version, but there's like really small items and choices that you can still make to try and give yourself an edge. This one's going to be, for example, Akaberry, King Gambit. The 3 Pokemon that you can change are Garchomp, King Gambit, Basculegion. This one's going to be Akaberry, King Gambit with no Protect, and then we're going to see Life Orb Garchomp, obviously with Protect, but also just like no defensive item or anything, right? Like Life Orb for that, those big EQs, the big damage. And then since the Life Orb is here, Basculegion doesn't get the Life Orb and instead just opts for that Mystic Water. Because sometimes you run defensive Garchomp with a Life Orb, Basculegion for the big damage. Usually Chopal was seeing a lot of success, but I guess with the way that the meta is shifting, I think Akaberry might be the one for this team specifically. And then obviously this is going to be our Tailwind setter with Encore Tailwind. This guy's our Fairy Move spammer with big damage. And then we do have Charizard with Blaze to just round everything together. The big mix-up is which Mega are they going to bring? Which supports are they going to bring? Is Whimsicott going to set Tailwind? Yes. And how do I stall those Tailwind? Big Six is just good. A little bit boring. And then we have G-Dote here with the Lycanroc team. The Lycanroc team is still good. Like, this team legitimately is just going to still be in this format. It's still strong. Literally, one thing has changed. Yeah, one thing has changed here. And that's going to be Life Orb on King Gambit. Like, hey, why not, right? Like, mess up those calcs even more. But it's kind of interesting because, like, Frostlass isn't really seen a lot. So Frostlass, King Gambit, Sneasler is an insane core, but Frostlass has just been straight up struggling. But the Charizards have gotten way more defensive in nature, so I actually really, really like the Life Orb choice from King Gambit to try and potentially get that KO. Obviously, you do have Lycanroc if you need it, but at the same time, I think having a little bit of extra oomph and just into the meta in general to upset those Black Glasses calcs seems really, really nice, especially with that Swords Dance. But yeah, Frostlass, Sneasler, fake out Aurora Veil, keep that pressure. Super annoying to deal with. Lycanroc is your Charizard killer. Basculegion just pairs well with everything because he's just so bulky behind the veil, and then he also just does he's really great to switch in. He does a ton of damage with the Last Respects and the Wave Crashes, and then again the veil plus that Citrus Berry is a very, very deadly combo. King Gambit can set up and go crazy with the support of Sneasler, Aurora Veil, and Follow Me. Like, whenever I play this team, the scariest part is 100% the King Gambit. Everything else is so whatever, but like the setup from the King Gambit is so brutal that I'm like, dude, am I gonna get veiled, swept by this guy? Is he gonna fake out plus King Gambit, right? Like, Rage Powder plus King Gambit, it's hard to answer this guy, especially with Scovillain. Scovillain is just obviously so good because of the burn ability, and the meta is still trending very physically. The issue is, of course, Charizard. So like, usually it's like, how do I make Scovillain shine into a Charizard team? Lycanroc, right? Lycanroc's there. He's able to keep him safe. Scovillain can burn all those big physical threats and also just keep King Gambit alive to deal more damage. This team has been good for like 2 months, and it's still top-cutting tournaments. Next up, we have Azulite. So this team we're going to talk about a lot. This team we're going to be talking about a ton, dude. This team is very, very good right now. Do I say the best Sun team? That's the question. I'm going to say no right now, but no, it's probably the best Sun team. Like, in this tournament and at this very moment, this is simply the best Sun team. So we got to break it down. We got to talk about it. Why is it so good? Who built it, may you ask? The person who built this team is, of course, Shiliang Tang, an amazing North American player who recently just started a family, actually, and didn't really play much competitively this season, but he got top 20 on the ladder and shared his team. And whatever he shares is like the written scripture, dude. Everybody steals it. Everyone wants to test it out. Everyone wants to improve on it because he's such a talented builder and an incredible player. It just makes sense. And so like, I think his team is obviously picking up because of his like notoriety as such a strong player. But I also think that Charizard Venusaur Incin is like really broken right now. We saw a lot of helping hand Zard with Venusaur at the highest level. We saw also it got second on ladder as well. So like this like idea or trend is really popping off. And you're probably asking, why is Charizard pressing helping hand? He is like the strongest dude. Why would he be helping handed? And it's just like, hey, why not make Venusaur the strongest dude, right? Venusaur gets so insane KOs with Solar Beam. I also think the threat of helping hand is super scary because you can't just throw a fake out his way. You do have to be respectful of a potential helping hand. And also like the speed of Venusaur just allows it to get huge KOs, get the helping hand boost, and just surprise people. But also not even surprise, right? Because you see it. This is an open team sheet tournament. So you see it coming, but at the same time, it's like being able to have that threat of damage does open up Charizard to potentially just press Heat Wave, right? So it's very interesting. Helping hand is also cool, like with the Scarf Garchomp, with this Annihilate as well, who can't be intimidated. So I think it has a lot of utility. It's very interesting, right? Because there is no grass move on Charizard, which we've come to know. But at the same time, does he need a grass move when you have Venusaur? Solar Beam is kind of a crazy choice, but again, it's that damage power is so strong, right? You can Oko stuff like Garchomp. You can Oko Aerodactyl with a helping hand Solar Beam. It just KOs a lot of these big, fast threats that really scare Charizard. So this Charizard Venusaur lead becomes very scary offensively, not just because of Sleep Powder. Obviously, Sleep Powder isn't even here. Earth Power plus helping hand goes nuts. Sludge Bomb, right? Like it's an offensive grass poison type, and we just don't have many of offensive of either of those types. So Venusaur is just looking really solid. Charizard again is just Heat Wave Weather Ball. That's all it really needs. It's got his nuclear fire moves, and then it can just helping hand when it needs to. Incineroar is next up. He's making me yawn, dude. He's so boring, but he is so good. I think he pairs incredibly well with Charizard as well, and also Toxapex, which we'll talk about later. Intimidate is just so good for the defensive monster that Charizard has become. Like he is mostly just like max HP, max defense with a little bit of speed. He appreciates Incineroar. It makes those physical hits. He takes them even better. Incineroar has Fake Out. He's got those supporting moves. Incineroar is just the GOAT. Scarf Garchomp is kind of interesting because it's something that has fallen off quite a bit. But on this team, I think it makes a lot of sense. You can get really cool, spicy little KOs with Helping Hand specifically as well. Because Charizard is able to help either Venusaur or Garchomp just outspeed and KO something huge, right? Like Helping Hand Dragon Claw is going to one-shot enemy Garchomps. Those Helping Hand Earthquakes go absolutely nuts. I think it's just a really cool partner. And also like having that really high ceiling and threat of Garchomp paired with the Charizard, or paired even late game with just like anything else, right? Like being able to have that ceiling faster than everything else in the sun. Well, not in the sun. The sun doesn't matter for Garchomp. He has a Scarf. But with the Scarf, just really good. Toxapex has been picking up insane traction. I think this team is a large part of it because Toxapex is just so strong. But it's just strong with Charizard, right? Like this is kind of it's like this one isn't even like Wolf's team anymore, but the idea of Instant Toxapex Charizard is such a godlike core that we saw Wolf use at NAIC, and I think it's just picking up. It's just good. It's just solid and consistent and good. Toxapex was not a cheeser mon. It's just a very strong mon in the format. Infestation traps you in. Toxic slowly, not even slowly kills you. It kills you quickly. Wide Guard is going to protect everybody on the team from those spread moves. Specifically, Charizard loves Wide Guard, right? Stuff like Aerodactyl or enemy Garchomps become a lot less threatening when you just put up the Wide Guard. They can't get past it. And you just sit there and you go, hey, I'm over here hitting you with heat waves. It's not a big deal, but you're doing no damage back, right? And then if they get those turned wrong, right, and you just go for the toxic, oh my god, dude. It's just, you're getting cooked, right? And then Baneful Bunker is a very cool signature move, Protect, that poisons you if you make contact. And then finally, Annihilate. Annihilate is a crazy pick, but I think it makes a lot of sense because a lot of these Pokemon don't appreciate enemy Incineroar, right? And also, this Annihilate set is just absolutely sick. Phantom Force is such a cool move. It takes 2 turns, but you disappear and then you come back out and hit them, and you actually are able to break Protects, which is very neat, especially paired with Charizard, paired with Scarf, Garchomp, or Venusaur. Well, I guess he's not going to break Protects for them. They're too fast. What am I saying? He can just break protects for Charizard, which is cool, but also having that stab physical ghost move is also very neat. Close combat is going to be a nuke, especially because you are just probably max attack, max speed. So you're like, hey, I'm Sash. I'm just trying to deal damage. You can't intimidate me. I'm going to hit you with fighting move. And we just have seen like there's just a lack of fighting moves. So being able to threaten King Gambit like that feels very, very good, especially with the Sash. You have that guaranteed like you need to two-hit me. Rock Tomb is cool coverage because Charizards are so slow. Jolly Annihilate is going to outspeed most of them and be able to slow them down. I think all of this together just makes it into easily the best, most consistent Sun theme right now. Especially you have amazing ceilings, amazing like basement with Toxapex, good stalling capabilities, really good offensive buttons as well with helping hand and with the Venusaur and with the Scarf Garchomp. It just kind of gives you everything. It's just kind of perfect. Then next up here we have the Gengar Parish Politoed Swampert team. This was a team that was built by the world champion Edu, who posted it on his Metafy that you have to pay money to see. But this team has done really, really well. You have a Parish mode, right? With Instant, Gengar, Vivillon, and Politoed, right? Of course. These Pokemon are very hard to KO. They're very obnoxious. They're really good at stalling. You press Fake Out, you press Perish Song, right? It's a very, very solid, consistent, strong mode. But then you also have kind of an insane, scary, like really strong rain mode, right? Like Swampert paired with a villain, paired with Archaludon and Politoed. You just have a strong rain mode, right? Like it's going really, really fast. These Pokemon are hard to KO. Instant fits both modes perfectly. So does Vivillon as well. It's a very cool team, right? Like, because Politoed is a good Pokemon outside of the Parish mode, and he is good with Swampert. He can enable that Swampert to go crazy. He enables Archaludon to go crazy as well. So yeah, I think it's just a really cool like mesh of Parish and Rain. I don't have much to say about this one. It's kind of like a little bit like self-explanatory. I also think the Gengar is neat as well because it is just double stabs. So it's just about saying like, hey, I'm going to deal big damage. Like, you don't even have to press Perish Song. You can just press Sludge Bomb, you can press Shadow Ball, and just keep the offense going. Next up is going to be Liam with Big Six. So Liam is going to be Timid Floette, which is very, very good into the mirror. We see the Life Orb Garchomp. We see Black Glasses King Gambit with no low kick. Which is kind of crazy. I feel like low kick is more popular, but at the same time, it's like when you play the mirror, low kick is obviously amazing into that enemy King Gambit, but then Ironhead is really good into the Floette Whimsicott. So it's kind of like, which one do you want to be good into? But it is going to be Black Glasses and it is going to be Mystic Water. So no defensive items here, all damage. Not too much to say about that team. It's just kind of boring. We got another Big Six team. Like, maybe Big Six is still just really broken. We have Timid Floette once again. We have Choppleberry King Gambit with no protect at all, and then Citrus Berry Jolly Garchomp. So it's not like it is probably a little bit bulkier, but it isn't like trying to trade better with you with an adamant nature. It is just going to be still Jolly Citrus, and then Mystic Water Basculin Legion. So no Life Orb additions. All the other Pokemon are the same. Yeah, just the coverage on the Choppleberry King Gambit. Just opting for a much more defensive version to have those defensive options, right? And the extra coverage here is pretty important in that way. Next up, we have Fede Campo. Fede Campo is the NAIC champion from last year and also the world's top 4 finisher. So Fede is always playing whatever is the strongest. And we have a Sun Rain team. So these Sun Rain teams, for whatever reason, they were slowly building. In the last couple online tours, they've slowly been getting better and better and better. And this one, this is finally where they're just broken out. Like, if you're going to notice here, we have a couple of them, right? Like Sun Rain plus Archaludon is just good. We have one in finals as well. Yeah, just one here. We got the Pelipper Charizard. Yeah, for whatever reason, Sun Rain is just popping off. I think part of it is just like Charizard's like the best guy. So, hey, if he's the best guy, let's just put him on Rain, because Pelipper plus Charizard has a surprising amount of really, really good synergy. It's kind of crazy when you think about it, but like this one doesn't have Wide Guard Pelipper, but Charizard, what does he like? Wide Guard. He loves Wide Guard, right? Sure, Pelipper has that. What else does he love? He loves Tailwind. This one's got Tailwind. Tailwind is a great, great move for Charizard, but he also like I think he really enjoys like the okay, this one has Hurricane on Charizard as well, but I think he just enjoys like having the water move on Charizard. It's a really good option, right? Like if your Charizard could have water coverage, would you put it on there? You'd say, yeah, I guess, probably, right? Being able to hit those enemy Charizards with your own weather wall. Now, obviously they can do it back as well, but you're the one who can control when the weather is changing, right? And also Charizard for the most part, like if the rain mode is going right with the Scarf Basculegion or the Archaludon, Charizard can just chill in the back and then come in later. Like after Archaludon is all set up, they can pair incredibly well together. I also think Archaludon and Charizard, for the most part, are really good like switches defensively, right? Like Charizard's weak to Electric, he's weak to Rock. Archaludon resists both of those. Archaludon is weak to Ground, Fighting, right? Is he weak to anything else? Is he really just Ground Fighting? You know what resists that? Charizard. Defensively, they just make a lot of sense together. Also, like Venusaur doesn't need the sun to be useful. This is a pretty crazy Venusaur set because it is Venusaurite, so it is double Mega, but it is Mega Venusaur with all the coverage and Sleep Powder. But it makes a lot of sense because Venusaur pairs well with the Rain mode as well, right? Like it's just such a crazy concept. But when you start to look at it piece by piece, you're just like, oh my god, Sun Rain is good. As stupid as that sounds, it's so good right now. So yeah, I think a lot of top players are very interested in it. We see that this one's going to be, like I said, just all coverage. Hurricane on Charizard is really funny. Like the flying coverage is really scary. He is going to nuke you. We do have that Venusaur for the grass coverage. The Giga Drain Sludge Bomb Earth Power set is so good outside of the sun. Like with the Mega set, but then you can just bring Venusaur and Charizard, set up the sun, and just Sleep Powder. You still have it. Grimmsnarl is going to set up the screens. He pairs really well with Archaludon and also Charizard as well. You're able to set up the screens for him, make him unkillable, and then bring in your Archaludon, right? I think what makes the team so good is that you can just like open with Charizard, switch him out, set up the rain, get going that way, or vice versa, open with Archaludon Grimmsnarl, Archaludon Pelipper, start sweeping, set up your Archaludon, and then bring Charizard in the late game. It's just solid right now. Nothing crazy though on that Grimmsnarl set, and then the Archaludon as well is going to be modest nature, but is just going to be like the main coverage moves, the Dragon move, the Steel move, and then of course the Electric move. Pelipper is going to be that bulky citrus, but opting not for Wide Guard, but instead for Protect. And then Scarf Basculegion is obviously just really good on the sun. As the Pokemon are fainting, he becomes harder and harder to kill. He pairs well with Grimmsnarl, setting up the screens, making him bulkier, and then also like he can just nuke you in the rain, which is very cool. But in the sun, he has last respect. So Sun Rain, big. We're gonna be talking about it a lot today. Then we have Chelsea fan with Staraptor Golden-Go. I think Staraptor Golden-Go is the combination. If you want to use them, I think they make a lot of sense. I think Staraptor is good in stuff like King Gambit. He's good into enemy Golden-Go's. He's good into, no, he's not good in enemy Golden-Go's. What am I saying? He's horrible to Golden-Go. Rewind that. He's really good into stuff like King Gambit. He's good into ground type Pokemon because he flies, right? And Golden-Go hates those. And then Staraptor's biggest pain and nightmare is going to be those fairy types and those ice types and those rock types, which Golden-Go can hit super effectively. I also think the nature of Staraptor and Golden-Go, especially like this one, right? This is like very much a setup oriented Staraptor. We have the healing, we have Aurora Veil, but so is the Golden-Go. He's very setup oriented as well. They both want to do the same thing, but you can bring them both in the same matchup. You can intimidate them, you can self-parting shot, and then you can also just bring in Golden-Go and try to have him sweep as well. We have Incin to enable everybody, right? Like I mentioned, you can parting shot your own Staraptor. You have Fake Out and Intimidate to keep everything going, and you can enable Golden-Go that way. And then we have Sinistra. Sinistra Incin is obviously a godlike combo. You pair that with these two big, bulky setup guys. It makes a lot of sense. And then Golden-Go, again, we've talked about him. He just pairs well with Staraptor offensively and defensively for the most part. Like Staraptor's weak to like fairy flying ice, right? Golden-Go resists all those. It's not weak to rock when it megas. And then Golden-Go's weak to ground fire. Staraptor doesn't resist fire, but is still weak to ground. And you're able to switch that in. You're able to be kind of useful in that way. Then we also have a Focus Sash Hisui and Arcanine, which is pretty crazy, but nonetheless is there. And then, I mean, obviously, I guess I should break down the set. It's just meant to hit you as hard as humanly possible. It's just like a nuke. It seems kind of crazy on this team, but at the same time, it is just good into Charizard. Disgustingly good into Charizard. And I imagine that's the only reason that it's there, is like it's good into Charizard, so let's put him on the team. And he probably did kill a lot of Charizards, right? Ended up losing 2 Gardevoir, but did beat every Charizard he played. So Soon Arcanine did its job, and then this Aurora Veil Ninetales is very neat as well. Just to make these guys bulkier, but also having that Blizzard coverage feels very, very good. So yeah, and then next up is going to be, so that was top, we're in top 16 already, which is pretty crazy. But next up is going to be Gustav here with a Floette plus Delphox team. A team that's been falling off quite a bit lately, but this one's going to be the Calm Mind Draining Kiss set. You pair this, like, these teams are very simple. You have 2 Fake Out users paired with Delphox and Floette. One of them is going to Nasty Plot, one of them is going to Calm Mind, and they're just going to try to infinitely kill your team, right? No one else really needs to do damage. Obviously, we do have base damages from, like, I mean, Sneaser's going to do big damage, and Incin can do big damage too. Even Sinistra in the right circumstance can threaten you with big Machagachas, but it is really just about, like, supporting these guys and allowing them to sweep you, or to sweep for you. And then you have that Draining Kiss to keep you healthy. Fake Out, Double Stabs, Protect. Very simple set from Sneasler. Poison Touch plus Poison Jab is picking up a lot of steam, but it's very, very good because it just allows you to get poisoned. You have 2 opportunities, like getting Fake Out poison sucks, right? And then you'll notice that almost everything on the team has Protect. So outside of like the Scarf, Garchomp, and Incin, so you're able to stall those poisons, get more value that way. Incin is there to intimidate and to fake out and to enable the double megas. Very, very good at weakening those physical attackers. Sinistra heals our sweeper megas, and then like I mentioned earlier, Delphox is one of our 2 megas, and then Scarf Garchomp is that really fast, big damage that we just have on the team, right? Like it's like, hey, let's get a strong, fast Dragon Ground type. Let's do it. It just seems good. Pairs well with Delphox as well. Puts a lot of pressure on with that Levitate once it Mega Evolves. So I think it makes a lot of sense. And then we have Zachary Weed, I believe, also known as Whimsicott here, with a Frostlass Toxapex Blaziken team. So Zachary Weed got second at UIC this year, and second at another regional. He's been very, very consistent, going to be a big threat for Worlds. And he's running a crazy team. So we have Frostlass with Blizzard, Shadow Ball, Aurora Veil. Nothing too crazy. We set up the Veil. We're fast. We're a nice type. Life's good, right? But then we have a Life Orb Dragonite. Life Orb Inner Focus. So there's no multi-scale here. We can't be intimidated. We're doing insane damage with Dragon Claw, E-Speed, and Low Kick. Pretty crazy. And then Toxapex. Toxapex is wild here because although everything on this team has Protect, it's just kind of there, right? Like, I think Toxapex is just so good that you can just put it on teams, right? But at the same time, admittedly, Frostlass enjoys Toxapex, right? It kind of loves that you can block those heat waves, and if you do manage to get weather control, you can just wall Charizard, right? Charizard can't hit you a Solar Beam or Weather Ball because it's in the ice, right? But so yeah, you can just press Wide Guard, block those heat waves. But I think at the same time, what makes sense about Toxapex here is that it's just one of the best switch-ins in the game right now. I think it just is, because it can switch into any hit. It can switch into super effective hits. It can just take everything like a champ, switch out with the Regenerator, and just keep going. So I think what's kind of neat, especially with this Frostlass team in general, is that you're just like, hey, I'm going to switch it in. It's going to take a hit, but that's okay, right? So it's just the perfect pivot, and maybe that's the strength of Toxapex. Obviously, Infestation is going to be very, very strong as well. So is Toxic. Like, trapping things in with Infestation is just good, right? Like, you can trap in a Charizard, bring in your Dragonite, and just start Dragon Clawing it. Or you can trap it in, Frostlass comes in naturally, you Mega, and now it can't switch out, and you just get to spam Wide Guard plus Blizzard. So I think the trapping mechanic of Infestation maybe just is worth it for this team. Sneasler King Gambit is obviously going to be paired with Frostlass. We do have the Poison Touch set, which I think is pretty neat as well. It just makes the stalling part of this team very scary. Close Combat, Fake Out, makes a ton of sense. And then we have King Gambit with the Black Glasses, with the priority spam. And then King Gambit, one of his best friends is actually Blaziken, which we have a second Mega here with Blaziken. We do have kind of like a priority spam mode with Dragonite, Blaziken, King Gambit. Now, Blaziken doesn't have priority, but he just gets so fast that the speed control doesn't matter outside of like Trick Room. So that's kind of neat as well. King Gambit opting for just coverage, no low kick, but instead does have Iron Head. And then finally, yeah, the Blaziken, who's just very strong, is going to hit you. Like, this team is just really, really aggressive in nature. And I think it's just kind of a cool team that we're seeing right now. Mega Blaziken at the highest level. Crazy. But I think it makes a lot of sense. It does seem overwhelming, especially with the double megas. Then next up, we have that boring Blastoise Delphox team that has just picked up so much traction. Shell Smash, it's kind of like the Floette team we just talked about, but instead we have Shell Smash to enable Blastoise, we have Nasty Plot to enable Delphox, and then we have the supporting cast to get them going. Sinestra heals, Instant fakes out, Sneasel fakes out. But then we also have another King Gambit, another sweeper that we can help enable with the Fake Out Brothers and with Sinestro. So it's just kind of like a really good offensive, like setup oriented team with a lot of offensive pieces that could just set up. Like you just pick which setup you want to use, like which Pokemon you want to set up, and then you just bring the supporting cast to do that. It's just one of the most popular teams at the moment, and that is just like the most basic version. Daredevils 26 with the Sand team. Sand plus Staraptor. So we have Mega Tyranitar and Mega Staraptor. Jolly Tyranitar is very, very speedy. Excadrill, Tyranitar, Staraptor do have a lot of good synergy. Obviously, Staraptor doesn't like those fairy types, but instead we have Golden Go once again. He's still here. But we also have Excadrill, so we have a lot of good ways to remove those big threats to Staraptor, the ice types, the fairies, and the flying types. So it just makes a lot of sense offensively from our Excadrill and from our Tyranitar to pair them together. Earthquake spam is godlike. You don't even need to like Mega the Tyranitar for him to be useful. It also gives you a really potent matchup into the enemy Sun teams that are everywhere. Milotic actually has Haze. Haze? What? Okay, sure. So we got Haze Milotic to remove all the setup that's going on right now. Kind of neat, kind of cool. Just completely shutting down the Delphox plus Blastoise teams, right? Like potentially if you just haze away Blastoise, he's just ruined. So that's cool. We have Sinistcha to help enable both Staraptor and Golden Go. And Staraptor is actually going to be Tailwind as well to further enable our Sand, guys. I think this is a really, really cool take on Staraptor. I like this a lot. Obviously Staraptor as well pairs well with the Sand guys because they hate Intimidate, and once Staraptor Mega evolves, you're chilling. You're big chilling. And then Golden Go as well loves Tailwind. He loves the support of Sinistcha, and he can just start sweeping you with his spread, make it rain. I think that's a very, very cool team. Those Daredevils. All right, and then we got Kangaroo. Once again, it is going to be the Shieling team. This team is going to be, we're going to keep seeing this one. But again, I talked about it earlier. I think the strengths of it is that like it's very, very bulky. It has really, really strong offensive buttons if you want them. And you can abuse them, right? Like Charizard, Venusaur, Garchomp is crazy, and Annihilate is crazy offensive. But then having the backbone of Toxapex and Incineroar just gives you these really safe switches that also really do well at enabling all three of the top Pokemon. So I think it's just a really, really good team. It looks so perfect to me. It looks so good. And then we have Didi here. I think this is Teo team, one of the really, really strong, like probably the best French player. One of the best Europeans, honestly. I'm known for just playing like Shadow Rider balance, right? So it makes sense that we're seeing Blastoise plus Delphox. We have all the fake out guys to help enable him. We did talk about this team a little bit. But yeah, so it's just like he's really good at setup and he's really good at balance play style, and running Incini, Blastoise, Delphox makes a lot of sense. One thing I want to touch on here is this one does have Quick Guard, which is very, very good at stopping enemy Sucker Punches and Fake Outs. Akaberry Sinistcha is also very neat as well. Just to switch in on a Charizard hit so that you can come in later and heal again. So yeah, very boring, putting me to sleep, but very, very good. And then we have Snorlax Pikachu 1 with Blaze. Okay, this is crazy. Lock in. Okay, we have Blaziken with Stone Edge. That's nuts. But you can't kill Charizard with Rock Slide, so sure, Stone Edge. Flare Blitz, Close Combat, you deal a lot of damage with all these moves. We have Mega Venusaur. Okay. Which is the coverage moves, which makes sense. I think that's strong. Ninetales to be able to change the weather. We have Freeze Dry, Blizzard, Encore. No Veil or anything, but I do think Encore is just a good move. Freeze Dry does have a lot of value as well. It just kind of gives you a Swampert matchup. You do have Venusaur on this team, but still, you also can one-shot Pelipper, which is pretty useful. It's just good. Freeze Dry is the good single target move that you don't have to rely on Blizzard every single time. Never Melt Ice is going to increase that damage. Then we have Lycanroc. So we're like, listen, our matchup into Charizard isn't that great. So we do want to throw in this Lycanroc here with the Focus Sash, Excel Rock, Rock Slide, Close Combat. With Tough Claws, Close Combat does a ton of damage. It basically turns into a Fighting Stab. We have the double rock moves. Life Orb, King Gambit. King Gambit Blaziken is just a match made in heaven. Offensively, they cover each other really, really well. Defiant is really good to just get those free boosts because Blaziken hates Intimidate. So I think pairing them together makes a ton of sense. And then we have Scarf, Basculegion. With a little bit of a Fire, Water, Grass core, paired with Alola Ninetales. We have our own weather. We have priority spam. It's just kind of a neat team. Like the Venusaur feels weird, but at the same time, like it's just so defensive in nature. All of our Pokemon, like these four are pretty defensive and bulky naturally, but then these two are like a glass cannon mode, which is kind of funny. You have like the glass cannon mode, or you can just get really bulky with it. And Ninetales can obviously play both modes. And I think just double mega is good, but a very insane team from Snorlax. Snorlax Pikachu 1. Now we're gonna hop into top 8 here with my boy Raghav Moody Man, who is running Charizard, Grimmsnarl, Pelipper, Venusaur, Basculage, Archaludon from earlier. So I think this is the same 6. But with Focus Sash Venusaur over non-Mega. So instead, he is opting to kind of saying, hey, I think Charizard is the only Mega I need, so I'm not going to run the double Mega, right? Like we saw Fede was running like a bulky, presumably bulky Venusaur with Venusaurite. So when the sun goes up, you're like, hey, I'm chilling. I have the sun, but then you don't have the Sash. So Raghav is saying, hey, I would rather have the Focus Sash, and I'm going to rely completely on Charizard as my solo Mega. I still think Venusaur is good, and I think that Sun threat is very scary, but I do want to be able to play that way. We also see a Calm Nature Archaludon, which the other one we saw was Bold. What else here? We see Wide Guard and Pelly. We see a Sassy Nature Grimmsnarl, and then we see that Sash Basculation. So this one is actually not running Hurricane, but is instead still running Solar Beam because there's no Grass move on Venusaur. So just very, very slight, small alterations that allowed Raghav to go a little bit deeper in the tournament than Fede. We're going to be talking about that team in a sec as well. And then next up, we have WBVG with the same 6 Pokemon. Oh my god, Sunrain. What's going on? So this one has a Focus Sash Venusaur as well. Wide Guard Pelly. So this is the exact same version as Raghav's, and the only difference is going to be Life Orb Basculation with Swift Swim Basculation as well, relying more on the rain mode. But I kind of like it because in the mirror, it looks like it would be very potent, right? If the rain is up, you're able to outspeed the enemy Basculation, guaranteed, and the other player has to respect that and play around it. Whereas this like it has its benefits, right? Like in the sun, this is going to be a lot worse. Just because it is going to be significantly slower. But in the rain, it's going to be a lot better. The Life Orb, Swift Swim, Wave Crashes are going to go nuts, and you're just going to be faster than enemy Basculegions. We see Sassy again, Wide Guard, Tailwind support with the bulky Citrus, Solar Beam because Venusaur doesn't have the Grass move, and is also Focus Sash as well. Wow, where is this coming from, like, actually? And then next up, we have Vovomax Ben 10, Gardevoir, Basculegion, Talonflame, Household King Gambit with Expert Belt, and Como. Wow, this one's crazy. So I let's break this one down. So I like Thunderbolt on Gardevoir a lot. I think that's very, very neat. It gives you really, really cool matchup in a Charizard. Just being able to like a Super Fang Thunderbolt, that's super scary. Considering the fact that a lot of Charizards are very slow as well. This is a very aggressive, like just hardcore hyper offense team. But that's what Vovomax Ben 10 likes to run. But it is a very cool addition to have that Thunderbolt. Obviously, Hyper Voice and Psychic are going to go nuts. We have Scarf Basculation as well with Wave Crash, Last Respects, Flip Turn, Aqua Jet. Pretty simple Sash set or Scarf set. Pairs well with the team just as a cleanup mon. We have Talonflame, who's going to set up the Tailwind for us. Very simple moveset with Sharp Beak. And then we have the Faint Mousehold with Super Fang. I think Mousehold Gardevoir is still an insanely deadly lead. I think it's so obnoxious to deal with, even in the current format. It's so scary. You don't know what kind of coverage they can have. Together, they can KO almost anything, even Charizard with Hyper Super Fang plus T-Bolt. Normally, you run Psyshock to get that KO, but T-Bolt will also function the same. And then you get to run Psychic. Faint is really sick because you can just faint during those Tailwind turns to get big KOs. Then we have an Expert Belt King Gambit, who is Jolly Nature. Jolly King Gambit to outspeed the enemy Adamant King Gambits in Tailwind. Very, very cool addition. And then we have Como with Life Orb Soundproof, Clanging Scales, Draco Meteor, Aura Sphere Protect. I think Como is kind of neat because I think Gardevoir does hate those steel types, does hate those fire types, and Como is very good into both of those. He's very good into Charizard. He's also very, very good into stuff like King Gambit, right? Not really Metagross, but still good into that. Draco Meteor is going to be a really, really strong nuke. I mean, this is just like in Tailwind. We got double like spread moves, Dragon Fairy, which is very brutal, right? That's going to do a lot of damage to you. It's going to be very annoying. And if you are a steel type or a yeah, just a steel type, you're going to get hit with Aura Sphere. So that's a cool combination. We have the threat of Mousehold plus Gardevoir, and then we also just have so much speed control with Talonflame and the Scarf Basculation as well. We're always going to be moving first for the most part, and including this crazy Jolly King Gambit. But Extra Ball is really funny because it like is trying to account for how weak Jolly is going to make you. So you're still probably going to do about the same or a little more to super effective Pokemon as an Adamant King Gambit. So it's kind of a cool addition, especially to try to snipe or put pressure on those Basculegions. And then next up we have, of course, the Charizard for Farigiraf, King Gambit, Garchomp, Aerodactyl team. I didn't see a ton of them, but this team still did really, really well. Only losing to the Sunrain up here, and then only losing to the Sun Toxapex team. So the two big new teams, but this team still did do very, very dominant and did amazing throughout the tournament. Nothing crazy here. So I think the strength of this team, I've talked about this team so much. Here we go again. The idea here is that you have Tail Room. Tail Room in this format just doesn't exist outside of this team. Farigiraf Aerodactyl is really, really sick in that way. Aerodactyl has amazing coverage. Aerodactyl King Gambit is one of the best leads in the game, and so is Farigiraf King Gambit. You just put so much pressure on. The King Gambit is max speed with the Focus Sash, so you're able to press Helping Hand, you're able to press Tailwind Low Kick, Tailwind Iron Head. It's so obnoxious, but that's just those three Pokemon. Then, of course, we also have Sylveon, who functions amazingly both in Tailwind and Trick Room, and so does Charizard. Charizard traditionally is going to be running max defense, max HP for the most part, with a little bit of bulk and a little bit of special attack, but it allows Charizard to be very, very slow, so that in Trick Room, it's moving first, but then in Tailwind, it has that high natural speed, so it still moves first there as well. And then finally, Garchomp just rounds everything together, and with the addition of Life Orb, it's just made this team absolutely perfect. And it's just one of the best teams in the format. I love this team a lot. I think it's very, very good. The mirror is incredibly horrible, but outside of that, a fantastic. Now we are here into top 4, and we have my stars. So we have, once again, the Charizard plus Rain combination here. Tailwind, Wide Guard, Weather Ball, obviously very, very strong. Modest Nature, Solar Beam, because we have no Sleep Powder and no Grass Move. Instead, we have Sleep Powder. Soul Omega Charizard paired with the Screen's Grimmsnarl and the Life Orb Basculegion and Swift Swim. The same version we already talked about. Makes sense in top 4. And then we have Pado VGC here. Once again, with the Toxapex Annihilate team that I've talked about a ton. Pairs really, really well with the Charizard. We have the defensive pieces. We have the offensive pieces. Not super crazy to see from Pado. Pado is an incredible player. A really good Italian. Consistently doing well at Worlds, and just using one of the best teams makes sense to me. We do see, the big thing here is we do see Sleep Powder on Venusaur. We see no Solar Beam, and instead seeing just Sludge Bomb and Earth Power, but it is still Life Orb, which is kind of interesting. I think that's the only... Oh, we also see Rage Fist over Rock Tomb on Annihilate, which is kind of fine. I think that's cool. Nothing too crazy there. Like, you are still going to get hit. You still have access to Phantom Force. So if you do get hit once, which you're guaranteed to with the Focus Sash, you're able to fire back with that potential 100 base power Ghost move. And obviously, if you get hit more times than that, it starts to add up and get a little bit scary. But otherwise, a pretty simple team from Pado. And then in the finals here, we have Desu. Oh, there we go. We have Desu at second place with the same team once again. But we do see the Solar Beam over the Sleep Powder. Helping Hand is still there. Wait, did he have Helping Hand? Oh, sorry. I gotta go back. Did Pado have Helping Hand or no? He ran Solar Beam. So he didn't want to run the shenanigans, but instead just ran Solar Beam. Desu is going to run the Helping Hand set, and he is going to run the Solar Beam. So no Sleep Powder here. And instead, yeah, just those Solar Beam. Who did he lose to? Oh, he lost to the Gardevoir. That's actually really funny. But yeah, we do have Rock Tomb as well. So this is just the base version of the team. And like Desu is also an incredible Italian player. So it makes a lot of sense to see him here at the high tables using just one of the strongest teams in the game. I think the Helping Hand Venusaur, like Charizard, Venusaur, this new, like it's not a new combo by any means, but just the Helping Hand set paired with the Venusaur just seems like it is just part of the meta now. It just seems very, very good, especially paired with Toxapex and Incineroar. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I just think it's very strong, just very good right now, but it couldn't beat the newest edition of the game, which of course is Sunrain. Sunrain, baby. We got Lexicon VGC in first place, winning the entire tournament. One of my good friends, Alex, winning with Sunrain. So we have Archaludon, Calm Nature. This is the exact same team as Rogov here. Protect, Heat Wave, Solar Beam, Charizard paired with that Venusaur with no Grass move, but instead has Sleep Powder. We have the Rain mode with Archaludon, Basculegion, Pelipper. We have the Sun mode. Charizard just flexibly fits in both. It just is so crazy how well it works. I did see a little bit of behind the scenes of Alex working on this team. He's put a lot of work. So huge congrats to Alex for winning the entire tournament. And it's kind of crazy because like when we look at the meta, we did see like at these top tables, like a lot of people were on the same team. And I know, for example, like they all just kind of like, I know Alex wasn't really like basing his build off of anything else. He was just testing it. So I think a lot of people were just testing a similar fundamental idea. And they just were like, hey, Charizard's the best Pokemon in the game. And we think his Rain is really good. What if we just kind of pair them together? And it just kind of worked out in all of these players' favor. And I think that going forward, the meta is shifting drastically. I think we're going to see a lot of people try to beat this new Sun Rain concept. And we're also going to see a ton of people try to beat this Toxapex Sun version that just like completely outplaced Big Six and just made Big Six look like Fraud Town. Obviously, Big Six will adapt, it will get better, but at the same time, I think these Sun teams were looking very, very good. Charizard is still dominating the game. Like literally, there's one Gardevoir, but all of top 8 is Charizards. There's one Gardevoir and then 7 Charizards. Funnily enough, too, there's like not. I don't know if there was a single Mega Venusaur. We have a Mega Aerodactyl here. But yeah, was this one? No, this one was Sash. Yeah, that's actually crazy. There wasn't the Sunrain. Was this one Mega Venusaur? No, they were all Sash. So it was just solo Mega Zard teams and then one. I guess there was the Aerodactyl. But yeah, it's one Guard, one Aerodactyl, and 7 Charizards. So Charizard is clearly dominating the game at the highest level. He's absolutely nuts. Yeah, let's look at the metagame with the top cut bracket. Yeah, it's just 54% Charizard. A lot of Basculegion as well. So the meta is looking like it may seem really boring, but I think the take on Charizard is a little bit refreshing. It does shake up the meta a lot, and I'm very curious to see where it will go from here. But congrats to Alex for going as deep as he did, winning the entire thing. Good job, buddy. And then also just all the other players innovating on this meta, pushing it forward. We had a lot of money on the line, so it's very cool to see this innovation. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you next time. Peace.